Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Just Open It, the YouTube series in which I open recently acquired toys. My name is Russ, thank you very much for watching this video, and over the next several weeks I will be posting 2 or 3 videos a week to count down to the release of the Masters of the Universe feature film, opening exclusively Masters of the Universe toys that I've acquired over the last few years, including the Scareglow from Masters of the Universe Origins that came out in 2020. This is a mid-pandemic release. That's how old this figure is. 6 years old. He and many of the other figures that came out around this time are sitting on my shelves unopened, and I'm finally going to tear into Scareglow, one of the most beloved characters of Masters of the Universe. In the original line, in the 80s, he came out toward the end of the series, and as a result, his production was a little less than some of the first few waves of figures that are way more beloved and known. And so because of that limited production, he is very highly collectible. If you have an original Scareglow, he's probably worth a couple $100, depending on his condition. Of course, he came with a cloth cape, I think, which was often lost to childhood play and the years. So when this figure came out early in the Masters of the Universe Origins line, I think a lot of people were excited to revisit a character that they maybe vaguely remember and is really only storied now as a collectible versus this cool character who is Skeletor's ghost, a walking horror from a different dimension. Scareglow radiates fear and terrifies his victims. That's what it says here on the back, the beautiful box art, as Scareglow accosts Prince Adam. And as new movie merchandise is slowly rolling out to retail, there have been sightings of a Scareglow figure in the new Masters of the Universe Chronicles action figure line, which is capturing the look from the film. Now, we don't know if Scareglow is in the movie, but it's interesting that he's one of the first characters that has come out to promote the movie in action figure form. So, again, just kind of speaks to how beloved this guy is. When I say Skeletor's ghost, the debate was always, is this like a ghost of Skeletor, some sort of spectral version of himself that he could project? Or is he a ghost that like Skeletor owns? Like he's just some dude, some third-party evil warrior that is a ghost and in Skeletor's employ. So is he Skeletor's ghost, or is he Skeletor's ghost? We don't know, but either way, it's my action figure, and I'm opening him right now. So now, he came out in 2020. Is there COVID in here? I have no idea. I guess we'll find out in the coming days. But here is a mini comic that I think I've read as I've opened other figures from this wave. But I look forward to revisiting that. Here is his axe. Very common Masters of the Universe accessory. And here is the figure. Okay, here's what's interestingly most noticeable to me right out of the gate. See, his cape is sheathed in the plastic. But here's what strikes me right away. Look at how easy that guy was to open. Now, if you've watched any of my 100+ videos that I've posted over the last few years, you've seen my struggle with these little elastic bands. He had 2 at his feet, but over the last few years, these bands are like everywhere, around his neck, around his wrists, around his waist, and so on. So it's interesting that in the earliest releases, the packaging was very minimal, and again, very environmentally friendly. We don't need all of this plastic to keep these guys still in what's essentially, I assume, what do you call that, like a vacuum sealed plastic. Like they're not rattling around in there. So I'm blown away by how like bound they have to be, I guess, to keep them still for shipping. But okay, here we are, Scareglow in hand, in my hands for the first time in what, 30 years? I mean, I had a Scareglow when I was a kid. I don't know how or why, but he was one of the, oh, here's one of those bands still on his arm actually, so maybe I spoke too soon. But I did have a Scareglow when I was a kid. I'm looking at my shelf. I don't think I have one anymore. Like I said, if I did, it wouldn't be in great shape. I'd have lost the cape, and some of the paint would probably be scratched off. Interestingly, of all the Masters toys I still have from my childhood, that's one of the guys that disappeared, unfortunately, because of the value and collectability and rarity, scarcity. But look at him. You could see why he's so beloved. It's a glow-in-the-dark plastic, and it says that on the packaging. It glows in the dark. So that's cool for 2020. That's cool for any modern toy. Plastic cape, so way more durable than the old cloth. It is kind of loose here, just as I finagle the figure in my fingers. Some alliteration there. It just kind of bounces around, but that's okay. Put the axe in hand, and this is Scareglow. I enjoyed Scareglow's role in the latest Masters of the Universe Revolution series as well. I think that they used him well as kind of a Hades figure. Kind of a great way to modernize this otherwise vague concept from our childhood. But look at that. I mean, the colors are striking. He glows in the dark. And I can't wait to add him to my shelf because he is truly an iconic Masters of the Universe character. And I hope he's in the movie. That would be fun. But I could also understand how a character like this kind of muddies the waters a little bit. When you're just trying to introduce a concept like He-Man to a contemporary audience, how into the weeds do you want to get with the dozens of characters that are at Mattel's disposal, in the production team's disposal? Or do you save this kind of thing for a sequel? Could Scareglow be a main antagonist, not just a minion of Skeletor, but his own big bad? I think so, considering he represents kind of death, and he could almost have a scarecrow quality to him, as far as, from what I understand or remember from the original version, if you were caught in his glow, you would hallucinate, you would feel fear. So there's a Scarecrow from Batman, kind of quality to this that would definitely make him way more than just like a minion on the battlefield. Again, this is a guy that could carry a plot all by himself. So sequel potential here, we shall see. But in the meantime, I am glad that he is finally free of his packaging, that he will join his Masters brethren on my shelves, and that these figures from the earliest releases of the Masters of the Universe Origins line still hold up and represent how incredible this series is, honoring the original toys while taking them in a new direction. Even now, as I celebrate the future of these characters, looking forward to the Masters of the Universe film coming out in June. If you enjoyed this commentary in any way, please follow me on Instagram at AmazingAZComics, where I frequently post about the comics and toys that I love, and the mini comics and the zines that I make. I'm a cartoonist and a self-publisher, and I make my own little comic about superheroes right here in Arizona, so you don't have to live in Arizona to enjoy them, just like you didn't have to live on Eternia to enjoy He-Man. Check me out on Instagram at AmazingAZComics. I'd really appreciate it. In the meantime, tune in next time when I grab another unopened He-Man toy from the pile here in my living room and I say, you know what? Just open it. I'll catch you next time.